Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Super Wild Card post-game show. Well, last night in Tampa, Florida, all Baker Mayfield and the resurgent Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted was an opportunity to make some noise in the playoffs. A strong finish to the regular season provided provided one. Their 32-19 wild card playoff victory over Jalen Hurts and the defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. Guaranteed they'll have another. Mayfield threw for 337 yards and three touchdowns, and Tampa Bay's defense never allowed Hurts and Philadelphia's sputtering offense to get into rhythm. And before a crowd of 63,397 at Raymond James Stadium, the Bucs won for their sixth time in 7 games to advance to the NFC divisional round matchup on the road next Sunday against the Detroit Lions, who are 13-5. Another team like the Eagles that signed Mayfield during the regular season. We worked extremely hard to get a chance to be in the playoffs. We just wanted an opportunity. Our guys came out and played really, really well once again. The defense played lights out. We were happy, but we've still got more to go, Mayfield said. Uh, we were underdogs. We were going to be underdogs next week, too. We're going to be underdogs next week, too, excuse me. Coach Todd Bowles said, "We understand that. We embrace it. We like that." David Moore scored on a 44-yard reception in the first quarter. Rookie Trey Palmer broke the game open with a 56-yard catch and run for a TD, put the Bucs up 25-9 late in the third quarter. Both receivers took advantage of poor tackling Eagles secondary to make their way to the end zone. Mayfield, the 2018 overall draft pick, who is playing with his fourth team in less than 2 years, completed 22 of 36 passes without an interception. He capped off his first playoff appearance since the 2021 season with a 23-yard TD pass to Chris Godwin. We were a little out of sync. That starts with me, Eagles coach Nick Sirianni said. I wasn't good enough. I didn't put them in good enough positions, and that is absolutely true. He did not, and they just did not play well enough for them to advance. Mayfield said the communication by the Bucs offense throughout the week made things feel comfortable during the game. Everybody was on the same page, knowing what we were going to do offensively, schematically. And Mayfield said, Came out and attacked. Excuse me. Obviously, got to make a few more plays overall on offense, but we made more than enough to win tonight. It was a disappointing loss for Philadelphia, who was 11-7 on the season, who lost to Kansas City in last year's Super Bowl, and then spent much of this season reassembling a club focused on determined to get back into the title game. The Eagles played without leading receiver A.J. Brown, who injured a knee in the regular season finale. Hurts started despite dislocating the middle finger on his throwing hand the previous week and was 25 of 35 for 250 yards and one TD before being replaced by backup Marcus Mariota in the final minute. The reality is we have to be better, and it starts with me, Hurts said. The Bucs, who lost to the Lions 20-6 in Week 6, regrouped following a stretch in which they lost 6 of 7 games to go 5-1 over the last 6 weeks of the regular season to win their third straight NFC South title and clinch a franchise record fourth consecutive playoff berth. The Eagles entered Monday night looking for a solution. What ailed them during a stunning about-face that saw them go 1-5 down the stretch after a 10-1 start to the season that included a dominant 14-point victory over Tampa Bay in Week 3. The well ran dry a little the last 6 weeks, Eagles tackle Lane Johnson said. Philadelphia outgained the Bucks 472 yards to 174, running 78 plays to Tampa Bay's 44 in the first meeting, with Mayfield getting off to a quick start against a poor tackling Eagles secondary. The Bucks gained 178 yards in the first quarter alone Monday night. Chase McLaughlin kicked field goals of 28, 54, and 48 yards, the latter extending Tampa Bay's lead to 16-3 late in the second quarter. The Eagles cut into their deficit with Hurts using a 55-yard completion to Devontae Smith to set up a 5-yard scoring pass to Dallas Goedert. The score remains 16-9 through though Sirianni took Jake Elliott's conversion kick off the board, and the Bucks were penalized for offsides. The Eagles lined up to go for 2 points from the 1-yard line, but Tampa Bay stopped Hurts for no gain. Smith finished with 8 receptions for 148 yards for the Eagles. Eagles security chief Dom DeSandro was back on the team's sideline after he was barred for the final 5 games, of the regular season after a sideline altercation with 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw on December 3rd. The Eagles were fined $100,000 for the incident. DeSandro was permitted to travel and perform all other work duties during that sideline ban. 3 members of the family of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. served as honorary team captains for the Buccaneers. Martin Luther King III, Andrea Waters King, and Yolanda Renee King attended the game as special guests and participated in the pregame coin toss. It's the first time members of the King family have participated in the commemoration of Martin Luther King Day at an NFL game. Now, there were some injuries. The Eagles had some injuries. Wide receiver Julio Jones left in the second quarter to be evaluated for a concussion and did not return. Quarterback Darius Slay, who returned after being sidelined for a month with a knee injury, was carted off with 6 minutes remaining. There was no immediate announcement of the nature of his injuries. So, and there were some injuries with the Bucks. Running back Rashad White limped off the field the second quarter, but returned and finished with 72 yards rushing on 18 attempts. And boy, yeah, the Buccaneers, they just were dominant, especially in the third and fourth quarter, and Philly just could not get past them. They just could not catch up. Were not able to score, and I got to give the game balls to the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, 26 of 36, carries and attempts, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Rashid White, 18 attempts, 72 yards, and I think it's David Moore, 2 receptions, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. So, and it was a rough night for the Eagles, just limited to 1 touchdown, 1 field goal, and one field goal and 1 touchdown. But they just struggled offensively and defensively in this game. They just struggled. So the Eagles' offseason begins, and the division, and for the Buccaneers, they move on to the division round of the playoffs, and the division round for the AFC and NFC is set. And I took Philly and lost last night, so I was 2-4 in my picks this week. Hopefully, I can do better next week. But the the conference games are set. In the AFC divisional round, Houston will travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Green Bay Packers will travel to San Francisco to Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California to face the 49ers. The Kansas City Chiefs, that's the other, and that's an NFC game in the NFC round. Those will be on Saturday. On Sunday, the other NFC divisional round playoff game. Actually, there was an NFC before that. That's the early game. The early NFC game, we'll do that one first. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will travel to Detroit to face Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions in the division round. And in the AFC, the other AFC game, which is the late game, the Kansas City Chiefs will travel to Buffalo to face Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium. So we shall see. We will know who will be in the AFC and NFC championship games after this week's games. So we shall see. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Super Wild Card Post Game Show. I'll be back with hopefully one of my regular podcasts before the Saturday and Sunday games are on Saturday either way. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.